Okay, welcome everybody. This is Pete Wormter. I'm going to officially kick things off. It's 4:02, and if you have a coffee or some other beverage, we want to welcome you here. We've got a 30-minute session planned for you today. It's designed to be quick. It's designed to be to the point. It's designed to really be visual and give you a view into the product. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to talk about today, and then we will quickly jump into the point of the session was to give a demo. This is a part of a new monthly series of live QuandaGo demo webinars. This is our second session. We did a session on integrating messaging apps into your contact center last month. That is available on demand and is easy to access if you missed it. Today, we're going to talk about managing omni-channel experiences. So obviously, this has been discussed in the industry. It's not a new topic. It's been happening for years, and I think is continuing to happen. So we'll touch a bit on why it's important, but more specifically, how omni-channel really has changed over the last, let's even say 12 months, and really how it's evolving from really a contact center term to something that is moving beyond to the entire kind of end-to-end experience and touching other departments and places like the back office in an omni-channel way. From there, we will turn it over to Robert Winder. Robert will give us a demo on the QuandaGo solution, specifically looking into our desktop and how we're bringing channels together, bringing customer data, eliminating the need for agents to search, and then also factoring in process automation and additional functionality, really to drive a more modern and a more forward-looking omni-channel experience that starts to, again, extend to other parts of the business. Obviously, a main benefit of all of this is great customer experiences, but also doing that in a way that's more efficient for your company and in a way that can help you manage this in a cost-effective way. We'll open it up for some questions at the end following Robert's demo, and we'll do it all within 25 minutes to use your time as wisely as we can. So I'm gonna move on to the next slide here. Really, we all know what omni-channel, I think, is on the phone here, so I don't want to spend time defining it. I think what's happening and what's interesting around omni-channel has really happened not only in the last few years, but specifically in the last 12 months as the world has kind of welcomed and dealt with coronavirus and continues to deal with it. It's obviously had a huge impact on the way consumers are engaging with companies. This is a bit of a complex slide from our friends over at Deloitte, but I think that's also a little bit of the point here. And if you look at this, I'll be quick and summarize it at a high level, but not surprisingly, pre-COVID customer journeys, which are represented by the blue line here, really move from these gray boxes and more physical presence and physical contact to the green digital channels and following those green lines really from across the end-to-end customer journey. So we've not surprisingly seen a major shift to the digital side and the digital channels, and that's fully expected to remain the new normal for many businesses, even after things open back up again. So from Deloitte's perspective, and we really agree that online channels are really under a pressure test at the moment, and it's between COVID and digital transformation, it is really kind of redrawing the landscape and really recreating the customer experiences that we have to deliver. So it's pretty unpredictable today, and I think we're doing a lot of work to help customer journeys become as predictable as possible, but we all know there are exceptions. Robert will talk a little bit about that, about escalation and how we try to make that part of today's journey easy and frictionless as we can. So that's a little bit of a view, but omni-channel, we've talked about it in the realm of the contact center, but it's not just the contact center. And if you look at some of these stats from Deloitte, it's pretty clear it's not the contact center. So I want to tick them off quickly because I think they're pretty profound. 75% of customers want to have consistent experiences no matter which department. The consistent part we all know, but really they're starting to expect it from every department. And that's, I think, in large part due to more digital interactions and more consistency that they're getting from a digital perspective. 58% report feeling as if they're interacting with separate departments, not one single company. That's a problem that's been around for years. 70% expect all customer service reps that they come in contact to have the same information about them. So we'll touch on that a little bit today and how QuandaGo helps you pull customer information together into really a single pane of glass that helps address and overcome the third point here. And, repeating issues is a problem that's been around forever as well. And 64% of customers still reporting that they have to re-explain things. So again, that gets tied back to the notion of customer data, where it resides, how many systems or apps an agent may have to access to get the information, and then keeping that information and moving it along with the customer interaction so there's no repetition. And so I think it's pretty exciting times. It's not easy. I think we all know that, but omni-channel is really becoming, the new normal for customer engagement. And then it's starting to extend to other parts of the business, which introduces complexities, but also goes a long way to really help connect that customer experience. So let's jump to the next slide. How to get it right. We touched on some tips in our last webinar on integrating messaging apps, and the first 2 points here really align with that. But it's always important to take a long-term view on your omni-channel strategy versus a one-off approach. But then, start with the most common channels your customer uses and bring those on in an evolutionary fashion as your business can handle it. Point 3, integrating those data sources, knowledge and CRM data, ERP data, but that is really critical. There was a time when a contact center, had to worry about integrating a CRM app and maybe one or two other data sources. And, that's perhaps 5 or 10x today. And there's customer data really everywhere. And the more we can bring into a single place, the more intelligent we can be, but also the more efficient we can help that agent be. So easy to use tools, they're out there. They provide easy onboarding for agents. So it's certainly also something to consider. We're all hearing about digital first experiences, and that's something that where the industry's moving and moving to more, end-to-end self-service. And, that's also part of the omni-channel mix, but always providing that critical and what we call transparent access to an agent and a live person to make sure there are no bad experiences. And finally, and we're seeing more of this, connecting into the back office and other departments into your omni-channel strategy. So briefly on our ecosystem, a slide you may have seen before, but the CRM apps are here from a data integration standpoint. You see messaging channels and so forth. So it's really a combination of bringing those elements together. So I want to turn it over now to Robert for the demo side. Robert Winder is based out in California, so it's early for him. His beverage may be a coffee, but I'm going to hand it over to you, Robert.
Thanks very much, Pete, and yes, good afternoon to you from a sunny San Francisco Bay Area. It's interesting listening to what Pete was describing there. I think we have tremendous opportunity in front of us in terms of the simplification of the agent and for the agent and the consistency for the customer. Those are the two areas of focus for me today to cover off. So as we go through the demo, what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about how we show to the agent on a single pane of glass this 360-degree view. So the idea being that the agent doesn't have to tab between apps, doesn't have to switch from context to context. And recently, I came across a study that was describing how people's interruptions, a 30-second interruption can create up to a 50-minute interruption on behalf of the workflow that people are doing and performing. Now, obviously, from an agent perspective, we want to minimize interruptions as much as possible and just keep them focused on the task. And from a customer perspective, the real value here is that they have the answer to the information, maybe not the right answer, maybe not the information that they're looking for. Maybe they want something to happen faster, but nevertheless, it's a consistent approach delivered to them in a way either through an agent, through an automated self-service task, and that the rest of the organization follows along with that. And so, one of the things we're going to talk about is the single pane of glass. Then we're going to get into how we handle automation with self-service. And the final piece is how we deliver consistent information to that customer across departments, particularly when interactions can't get resolved in the 3 minutes and 30 seconds of a phone call. When they have to go out into the rest of the enterprise, the rest of the organization, what has to happen and how does that customer keep being informed? So that's what I'm going to demo to you today. Let's move on to the next slide. From an omnichannel perspective, I think if you're evaluating this space, these are, these kind of this 9 items here that are on this matrix. You're going to be looking for and looking at. Clearly, from a QuandaGo perspective, we have a massive head start in this space, given our ability to handle multi-channel interactions, as well as handle the customer processes and the processes around delivering this kind of consistent customer service, consistent customer information across the enterprise and to the customer. So with that, let me launch the demo. Robin, I'm just going to take over a moment here and start to share my screen. All right, so welcome to the QuandaGo desktop. Let me just get rid of this. What you're seeing here is our single pane of glass for agents. And on the left-hand side, this is all related to the interaction management. For some of you who are already existing customers, this will be familiar with you. But on the left here, we have the agent states, the activities that the agent is working on. Anything if the agent is currently active on an inbound call, for example, or an email or a work item, then that would appear here. And then below, you see the agent gets a view of the stats on behalf of the queues that they're a member of. And you can see that I'm a member of this Rockies. So this is a little further to my east, out in the Rockies around Colorado. But I'm working on this inbound queue today, even though I'm sat here in the sunny San Francisco. So first of all, what we did is I just kind of prepared the demo by creating a simple customer record with a few requests already, just to prove out, just to show the information. And you can see here that we entered a phone number in, or we could enter an email. We could enter an account number. Some other way to identify the customer. And then we have beneath that the customer identification panel that pops up. Now, the moment I click on that, what we're actually going to get is a 360-degree view of this customer. So we can see this customer's called in twice before, and they've sent us 2 web chats. If I want, as an agent, I want to see what those calls were about, I can actually drill in and see this information single-handedly. So I can just quickly open up and see what's going on. So there was a simple general information request. There was a fulfillment request. So here you can see if an email was sent. So in this fulfillment, please can you send me some literature to this email address? If I want to see what that email looks like, I can just quickly open up the email, and this is the email that the customer received. So now what we're doing is we're kind of giving the agent all of the information right there so that they can see the direct access from this single pane of glass. So you can see that these tasks were opened and closed and resolved. Now, if that request came in through chat, I'd get the same perspective. Here, I can open up the chat log and I can view. Here you can see, hi, there was an attempted delivery. This is the chat history between the customer. So you can see, unfortunately, I'm both the customer and the agent at the same time, which is why my name appears all in the same list. But nevertheless, you get the idea here that we're showing both the chat history as well. There was a follow-up email that was also sent. So again, you can see with the confirmation back to the customer of what we're looking to do. Now, this is an example that we already set up, right? So you can see here a couple of phone calls, a couple of emails. What I'm actually going to do is just send a quick phone call in and make a quick call here so that you can see what it looks like for a brand new call. A brand new call arriving with nothing done previously. So as this call gets delivered in, what you're going to see is a screen pop. No surprises there. This has been technology that's been around for many years, and you can see here we've identified a new phone number, and this phone number has had 2 previous contacts. If I pull that up by clicking on that, now you can see that I've had a different Robert window. There are multiple Robert windows in this system. You can see they've received 1 phone call in the past and had 1 web chat. So this is the agent's single pane of glass. Each of these tabs that you see here can be customized and configured. They can pull in information and extract data from your systems on the back office. They can go out to your Salesforce environment, your SAP environment, your ERP systems, pull that data in, and then use that data to be able to show to the agent what they need to be able to do. So at this moment, what I'd like to do is to start a fulfillment request. So as you can see here, I can type in a brief description. I can assign this now to other people outside of the contact center. Please reschedule delivery. Oops. Then do we need to send a confirmation? Is there any follow-up? What is the email address? So I'll put in a quick email address here, and I'm now associating that email address and that phone number together. So with that, I can now dispose of this call and create a disposition record. So here I'm registering the inbound phone call. It was a request. It's a fulfillment. Here's the description and here's the email address. If I wanted to, I could also attach some other information. So now let's assume that the customer has a second question as a follow-up. What I want to be able to do is to go search in my knowledge base. What is QuandaGo? So let me quickly type in QuandaGo. That pulls up a knowledge base item in here. And now for the agent, what we're doing is we're displaying a simple piece of information. Call it a little more information about from out of a knowledge base, and I can link that now to this record. So I can also link that to here, and I can paste in. Oops, that's not what I wanted. And I can paste in the information into my request. Okay, so with that, what I'm going to do is now move into the wrap-up phase. As the agent, I can either send a manual confirmation or know that the system is actually going to send out a confirmation address if I already know that that's happening, and I can just hit finish and move into wrap up. And that's it. Call disposed of. Hang up the call. Everything's taken care of. All right, so we have just a couple of minutes left of the demo. What I want to do is to show you the same type of interaction, but to now do that in a web chat environment. So let me just come over here into another screen, And now I'm just going to refresh quickly the FAQ and the web chat environment. I'm going to put in that email address that I put in before. Let me click down here. I'm going to start this interaction. All right, so I'm currently being told that I'm in queue. Hi, what is my delivery date? Right. So now, if I go back to my agent desktop, I'll just quickly flick back as the agent. You can see that this agent has there is one chat waiting in queue here, and it's not green, it's gray, and that's because I'm working on the phone system. But as soon as I flick over onto the chat, what you'll see is we get the little screen pop over here, and I can see now that there is a new request coming in. Now again, because of the contact information that we previously entered, we know that that email address that the person that we're chatting with has already been identified, and I can pull up their record. So you can see that the person is asking for the delivery date. Hi, I see from our records you will receive on Monday. I can also send little emojis if necessary, and also I can have predefined responses and send those back. Just to show they come up back here from the customer perspective, so you can see those there. Now over on the right, you can also see that we identified that this was a chat. It was a question. It's about let's say it's a general information about delivery. Oops, delivery date. That's it. Nothing else is required. Now we've completed yet another call, and we've been able to dispose of that call very quickly, very effectively, and be able to handle the customer questions on the fly as a single pane of glass without having to tab between different screens, and all there in the information right there for the agent right at hand. So with that, I think, Pete, I'm going to hand this back to see if there are any questions. Hopefully that gave you a good impression of how we handle the agent interactions from a single pane of glass, and give the agent the 360-degree view of the customer.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Robert. And I especially like the emoji feature there. Everyone, we hope you found that useful and informative. We're happy to entertain any questions via chat. I would also encourage you, those of you that are existing customers, if you want to learn more, to talk to us and talk to your QuandaGo contact. And we'd be happy to answer questions and tell you anything more you'd like to know about the solution. So I don't see any questions coming in, so we will end it there. We thank you very much for attending. We will again make this webinar on demand, and we can get that to you if you'd like to share it with any peers or colleagues. We'll make that available as a recording. Thank you very much, Robert, for your demo, and thank you everyone for attending. And we'll see you at our next demo session, hopefully next month. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.